the familiar face is tougher to pick out behind their masks. Someone in a face shield took Sam's temperature and pronounced it normal. With their badges in hand, the new doctors lined up to take Bellevue's notoriously slow elevator upstairs, where they'd be fitted for protective equipment. They traded tips and grievances about the endless preparations for their actual residencies, set to start in July, after this temporary COVID-19 assignment. After 3 hours of paperwork, their orientation was complete, and they were free to head home. It was a straightforward affair. The next morning at 7 o'clock, they would report for their first handoff, which meant reviewing the list of patients that they were responsible for. As Sam headed toward the exit, the rain outside was falling in sheets. The city streets sat limp, like laundry waiting to be wrung out. It was April 13th. New York State would lose 778 more patients to coronavirus before the start of Sam's first hospital shift the next morning. There are few relationships more intimate than the one between a patient and doctor. The stakes are not just the heart, but the living self, and the dependence can be absolute. It is an act of total trust to submit one's body to another's hands. It's often said that doctors play God, that they determine life or death through the medical orders they issue. But of course, they aren't all powerful or particularly mysterious. They are humans, pressing through a long shift, rolling their ankles to relieve the tension of a day on their feet, mulling over the takeout they'll order for dinner, hoping their supervisor caught their deft insertion of an IV needle. They are normal people with an outsized influence on how we live or die. Yet their impact on our lives is powerful. It is no wonder that they are granted an unusual degree of societal status. While the median income for an American adult is roughly $50,000 a year, for a physician, it is 4 times that amount. But medicine distinguishes itself from other high-paying fields by its alchemy of conscience, merit, and money. It is one of the last remaining affluent professions that stakes a claim to earning its pay fairly, in raw talent, unflagging exertion, and a clear-eyed commitment to public good. In its devotion to elitism masked as meritocracy, the story of America's doctors mirrors the story of this country. The medical profession has rendered itself exclusive by design. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, medical organizations surveyed the field and decided it wasn't quite restrictive enough. So they undertook an effort to close medical schools, shrink the number of annual graduates, and ensure that those that remained met a standard of rigorous performance. The effect was also to make those school populations more affluent, more male, and overall, more homogeneous. A century later, American medical schools are still predominantly white and wealthy. This is partly because doctors are predominantly white and wealthy, and doctors tend to beget doctors. In recent decades, many medical schools have made a concerted effort to draw their student bodies from a wider range of racial and socioeconomic backgrounds. Some have come to realize that such diversity is integral to the work. Quite simply, it improves the health of patients. Recent studies, the type that might not have been funded just a few decades ago, show that Black patients have better outcomes when treated by Black doctors. They are more likely to bond with these doctors emotionally and agree to important preventive care measures, like cholesterol tests and diabetes screenings. It's likely, too, that they're less apt to face racial bias. In other words, in the exam room, identity matters, both the doctors and the patients. And so the field's exclusive bounds have begun to crack. As the medical profession has started to look more like its patients, a shift has emerged, not just in the culture surrounding the work, but also in the outcomes of that work. When patients and doctors see themselves in one another, they forge stronger bonds and have more candid conversations. They talk more openly about preventive care screenings, medications, and which invasive measures to forego at the end of life. They build the type of trust that has long been absent from clinical examination rooms. Gradually, the face of American medicine has been changing. It has been growing less homogeneous. It has also been becoming more open.